So, start with story time, okay? I'm pretty muscular now, but I started out quite skinny fat, to be honest with you. Kind of like really fat actually really fucking fat in the belly. Like I was a fucking fat kid. And with skinny arms, so I wasn't even that strong. Slightly above average, but, you know, fat, basically. That's how I started out. Fat and kind of skinny and weak. And I got zero attention from girls. None. Until I started going to the gym. Now, it took me about a year for any real noticeable effects to kick in. But I remember this one time where I was with a girl. We just went back to her accommodation at university. This nice accommodation. She had like pink sheets and all this shit, and we were in bed and whatever. And I remember she looked up at me, you know, as you do, and she squeezed my arm and said, "I really like your arms. They're so muscly." And that was the first time I like saw a girl like physically compliment me for something that was like lustful, you know, not like, "Oh, you have pretty eyes," or "I like your personality, you're funny." Like, yeah, but I'm like, that's like a horny compliment, you know. And it just made me feel like such a man. And you know, that's why I'm making this video today. Let me adjust this for you. That's why I'm making the video today, so that you can one day also have Python arms and just feel that way of just being the man with massive arms. So let me just start this baby up here. Bang, slideshow. You want to get girls, I wanted to get girls. Big arms are a cheat code. Seriously. You don't understand. Having big arms makes you look heavier and more muscular than you actually are if you're wearing clothes. Okay? Being 75 kilos with big arms is better than being 80 kilos, same like body fat percentage, with small arms. Because the arms just make you look so big. Because people look at your arms, they kind of judge the rest of you based off that. There's this stereotype of gym bros only training arms, and the reason that stereotype is real is because a lot of guys do work out mostly to look big and get girls, and arms yield a disproportionately high return compared to like chest or something. So they're really important. This is where I'm at now, and I'm really proud of this progress, even though I'm not pumped there, not particularly like big, as in like 1,000 peak bulk or anything, but it was a couple months ago now. But I used to be really fucking skinny in the arms. In fact, my arms are really lean, so they're really vascular easily, but they grow quite slowly comparatively. But I got them to grow, and I'm pretty proud of that non-pumped, not as big as I am now picture, because I started off really fucking skinny, right? So I'm going to tell you what to do and what not to do to get those arms, okay? You don't want to do, a lot of people, they treat arms differently to other muscles. They train at really low weight, for example. They do this sort of like hit shit with like little tiny dumbbells and like 20 fucking reps and don't get me wrong, you feel the burn, you might get a pump, but we're trying to just grow muscle here. I don't understand why you treat it differently to, I don't know, chest. It is just a muscle. A lot of people also say, "Oh, you shouldn't bother with arms, you only do compounds." Listen, if you have naturally big arms, then yeah, just do compounds. Genuinely, like, it's a thing with bodybuilding is that there has to be a trade-off somewhere, right? You can't train everything optimally because you don't have that volume, that bandwidth to be able to do everything. You'd be overtraining if you did everything like to the maximum 100%. You have to take the 80% that takes most of the results for most things, and then for the muscles that you're weakest in, or the muscles that you prioritize most, you really push, right? That's what steroids are so powerful, because they let you just train more, like so much more. Not only do they have you grow faster, but you recover quicker. So you can just like train everything for a shit ton of volume and a shit ton of intensity, and it's not a problem. You can't do that in real life. So if you have naturally big arms, then yeah, you can just do compounds. I don't, and most people don't. So you can't. And the flip side of things, a lot of people only do accessories. Like they skip compounds that are more arm directed, so they only do bench instead of narrow grip bench, which is fair enough. And then for arms, they only do curls and tricep extensions and whatnot, and that does work. But if you really want to grow your arms, compounds and accessories, okay? Another thing what not to do is train arms every day. The volume is important, but so is recovery. At the end of the day, you have to do effective volume, and that means training effectively to failure with enough volume, and then giving yourself enough time to recover. Okay, so those are the 4 things I see people do that are just wrong. If you don't do those, you're already better than 80% of people. So for tricep, I'll give you 2 tricep exercises. I like standing cable tricep extensions. I don't use that little bar cable. I use the little testicle looking ones. You know, the little black balls on the rope. Those are great. Those are really good. Try to minimize momentum until the final few reps, and then you can really like take that shit to failure. The one thing about cable that's really fucking good, really good, right, is you can, when you take something to failure, you can drop the weight by 2 or 3 notches and do it again and again and again. I recommend doing this for either 2 to 3 sets, depending on how many times you lower the weight. If you lower the weight like 4 or 5 times, then do it for 2 sets, and just train that shit to failure. And get a big guy to show the specific form. One thing I find is really helpful is keep your back straight. Then when you're in the top position, your hands are kind of like this. Then you're in your fully extended out, your hands kind of go like this. I find that really, that movement, let me stand up and show you for real. Find that this movement is really nice. See how my arms are like this, and then they turn. See how my hands are like this now. Whoop, whoop. That's super great. Same thing with overhead tricep extensions. They hit slightly different muscles of the tricep. I'm not going to get into the details of the tricep heads mainly because I don't know. I just know there's multiple, and if you do these, you probably hit both of them, right? Super great. These ones, especially, I used to only do these regular standing tricep extensions. Then I started to head like, you feel it when you haven't done it for a while. Like you just feel it like, oh fuck, I've been missing the tricep head this entire time. So definitely recommend it. One compound you can do for tricep, skull crushers. Really fucking good. Actually, isn't a compound, sorry. Ignore that. Another exercise you can do, skull crushers. I don't do them so much because getting a bench is pretty difficult in my gym. But if you don't have that problem, they're really fucking good. Especially because you can like really track the weight you use. You can load the weight specifically. You can add like half a kilo on each side. That progressive overload is very, very, very helpful. Biceps. Now, triceps, first of all, are 2/3 of the arm. Okay? You see this? This is mostly tricep. But biceps are sexy. So train triceps a bit more than you train biceps, but don't neglect your biceps because everyone wants big fucking biceps, right? Preacher curls. You don't need to pray for big arms anymore. You can get them with preacher curls. It's an increased range of motion. It's pretty easy to set up, which is good, and you can lower the weight. You can take like 2.5 kilos off and then do a sort of set to failure after you fail already. I recommend using clips because I personally, when I use the left, when I do preacher curls, my left arm is slightly weaker than the right, and the weights kind of fall off, and it's like fuck. But they're super good preacher curls. I recommend them. Another thing, these are great. They feel really good. These seated decline hammer curls. If you have trouble getting a seat, which I do often, you can replace them with just regular hammer curls. I especially like the sort of variation where instead of curling like this, you sort of just curl like this. That's pretty good. I really like that personally. But if you can get a seat, get a seat. And again, you can get. I start with the 18 kilo dumbbells, then I drop to 14s, then to 10s. Again, you're just pushing to failure here. For all these exercises, I'd recommend 2 to 3 sets. I think 4 is too much generally if you're actually pushing to failure. And I think if you're generally doing like 2 or 3 drop sets, as in like lowering the weight, I think you're good to do fucking like 2 generally if you just fail. Compounds for the biceps. I think it's really important you incorporate one or both of these. Pull-ups or chin-ups, are fucking amazing for your back, for your athleticism, for your strength, and also for your biceps, especially if you, let's see if I can organize. You do the chin up like this and you keep your fucking forearms straight. That's how those gymnasts, you see gymnasts have massive fucking biceps. So let me just pull it up here. Gymnast biceps. Look at that. Look at that motherfucker. Jesus Christ. Right? That's what you want. That's all chin-ups. Okay? Do a lot of those to get Python arms. And they're great. Really recommend them. Another thing I like is Yates rows. They're good for your back, but since they're underarm, under grip, not over grip, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Since you grab it like this, the bar, and not like this, it does actually feel really good in the bicep. So incorporate a compound. You can do one or both if you want to grow the biceps. Right now I'm doing Yates rows. Before my program had a lot of fucking like chin-ups and shit because I really like them. So couldn't recommend them more. Compound tries. Dips, tricep dips. I think dips and chin-ups are a really good foundation for the program, especially in the first like year or so of lifting, because being comfortable with your body weight, as in for me, it was really helpful to just developing that confidence in my body. So being able to do loads of dips and pull-ups and shit, and like see myself be able to actually go from using a machine to less and less weight on the machine to now I can just do them with like a chain on me or like a fucking 20-kilo plate like wrapped around my fucking belt is really useful. So I do recommend those. They can hurt your elbow a bit though, and if you don't really like them, I'd also recommend as a compound movement a more narrow grip bench press. Especially if you're training bench press a lot, if you want to get a big bench. A lot of people, the limiting factor is the tricep, so do some narrow grip bench press. That really helps. Right, basically do that 1 to 3 days a week. I'd recommend for arms twice a week. If you really want to focus on them 3 times a week, I'm probably going to have a phase this year where I do arms 3 times a week. It's very bro-like, I know, but I'm going to fucking do it because I want big arms. Do that, okay? Do that. And everything turns out okay, basically. If you incorporate one compound and 2 accessories per arm muscle, so per tricep and bicep, you should be good. I recommend also not skipping forearms. You can do hanging, like literally just hanging off a bar for forearms if you want. You can also do curls where you hold the thing like instead of holding it like this, the bar, you hold it like this, and you sort of curl upwards like this. Obviously you're not doing that unless you're doing it like this. Forearms are often neglected, but if you just don't train with straps, your forearms will grow naturally, so that's fine. You do have to keep in mind that obviously if you want to grow something maximally, probably training at like 3 times a week is best, but you can get most results, as in 80% of the results, by training it maybe once or twice depending on your intensity and your genetics. So you have to ask yourself, if you have naturally big arms, maybe you can get away with it once and you still get most of the benefits and you can focus on a weaker body part. But if you have a really big chest like me, but comparably arms that have a bit less volume than you'd like, then yeah, 2 to 3 days a week is pretty fucking reasonable, I think. Anyway, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it, big dog. That is it. If you like the video, like it. If you don't like the video, tell me a comment why. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm always willing to learn and share. So I need to stop the swearing, really. It's very unprofessional. That's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm going to record the next one right now.